Are you sick of waking up with anxiety and regret after drinking? I get it. I was a weekend binge drinker, fooling myself into believing I was detoxing all week, only to retox every weekend and live completely outside of alignment with my values. As a former personal trainer who cared about health, that disconnect pushed me to finally make a change. I'm Maureen Bankovich, and this is Sober Fit Life, a podcast where we get real about alcohol, share powerful stories, and learn from wellness experts so you can thrive physically, mentally, and emotionally. Let's get sober fit. Have you ever Googled, "Am I an alcoholic?" Me too. And here's the thing, it's not a helpful question. Those quizzes just slap on a label. Yes, you are. No, you're not. But what if it's not about the label and more about how drinking actually makes you feel? That's why I created Am I Drinking Too Much? It's the quiz I wish had existed when I was searching. No scare tactics, no rock bottom required. You'll get your results and a free guide that explains gray area drinking, plus 3 science-backed strategies to reduce or interrupt cravings. Take it at soberfitchick.com/MI. That's MI, as in, am I drinking too much? soberfitchick.com/MI. Welcome back to Sober Fit Life. I am so excited today to have Josh James, founder of Ocean Beach Cafe. And I had to ask myself, what happens when a bartender decides to stop drinking, but he doesn't leave the bar behind? Well, that's exactly what Josh James did. And after years of pouring drinks in San Francisco, Josh flipped the script and founded Ocean Beach Cafe, the city's first alcohol-free bar. He's now leading the movement to make non-alcoholic beverages cool and inclusive and part of everyday culture. Today, we're going to talk about the power of redefining rituals, rewriting stories, and building community without booze. So, Josh, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on Sober Fit Life. And I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you so much for having me here. This is some of my favorite stuff to do, to get to share stories and information, build community. You're doing all of that. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, me too. I watched your documentary. Guys, I recommend everybody watch this on YouTube, the Mindful Drinker documentary. He made it about 3 years ago, but it's so good. And you get to know a little bit about Josh and his quest that he decided to go on. So can you tell us a bit about your story, kind of pick it up, being a bartender, share some of that, and then what happened that you said, I'm going to take a year off of drinking?
Yeah, so I drank a lot, and then I stopped drinking, and then I opened a non-alcoholic bar in San Francisco. That's it. Thanks,
End of
guys, for
story.
joining us. And I got into restaurants right out of high school, and I was like, "This is awesome! I love this. Cash every day." And I was like, "But I think I want to be a bartender." So I got my first bartending gig in Alaska, but I lived in Hawaii for 20 years, and so doing food and beverage there, and then I bartended in LA and then San Francisco in 2010. And then I was in New York and North Carolina and bartending all over the place and just loved it. And then a whole bunch of places back in Hawaii and Kauai.
Wow.
And it was super fun until it wasn't. And after, I remember the hangovers at 33, 34, I was like, okay, this is different. And then it just got worse from there.
Yeah.
And then at 38, so I'm 43 now, and at 38, I was like, I'm taking a whole year off because it's 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off. I was just going back to 2-day benders, 3-day benders. Yeah. And those was what were really killing me. Like, I'm of good spirit and pretty jolly drunk, but I'm not, it was just your brain is breaking down and your body is like, it's being poisoned heavily. And that catches up to you. So take a year off drinking. I highly recommend it for some people that are thinking about it.
I want to ask you though, because a lot of people start out with like, well, I'm going to do 30 days or I'm going to take, a break 10 days. Did you do any of those, or was I'm going to take a year off the first way you decided to do this?
I had a bunch of 2 weeks off, sometimes a 3-week off, leading up to what essentially was 2020. But it was just going back to the benders. So giving myself permission to have alcohol in my life, like that really was the major issue. So
Right.
take it out for the long term. What do you got to lose? Like, let's just be real about it. Do you think it's just going to suck and like it's going to be boring and nothing great will probably happen if I stop drinking? Yeah, right. It's the opposite.
Right.
Everybody's story is going to be different, but
Hmm. But you were willing to be curious. Now, when you said I'm going to take a year off, did you take off from bartending too, or did you stay in bartending?
yeah, I wanted to get out of food and beverage for sure. I didn't. I was watching other bartenders and people waiting tables, what few of them there were in 2020, and I was like, I do not want to do that. I'm gonna find another career, and I'm super excited about it because when I stopped drinking, my brain was able to do
Mm,
more high performance things as it started to heal, and that was
yeah.
fascinating for me. I went to a Native American rehab in San Francisco. My brothers had went there, and it was easy for me to stop drinking in the first couple months, but I didn't want to be in North Carolina anymore, and I was like, I'm gonna go there because I'm sure I got nothing to lose and it'll be great, it'll be positive. So I went there, and one of the major things that happened, I was reading one of the books that was at the place, and it showed me this diagram of how a brain heals after 6 months, after a heavy drinker stops drinking for 6 months, and then 1 year, and then a year and a half, and 2 years, and I was like, oh my
Mm,
goodness. That's how long it takes. I thought it was like, I don't know,
right.
3 or 4 weeks and you start to heal. And seeing that visual, that diagram was one of the big impacts on me where I was like, oh, yeah, we're definitely going this year and the years after that. And it was just, I found out I love to be productive. That was another
Hmm.
huge thing. I wanted to change the career, not be bartending anymore, and productivity was just at an 11 that year. It was unbelievable.
Well, it's
And
kind of like the secret that stopping putting alcohol into your body is the biggest productivity hack out there.
it's really good for your skin too,
It's good for your skin, good for your brain, good for your gut. I mean, every system in the body. And that's, as a former trainer and very into health, that's what I was fooling myself thinking, well, I can just work it out, sweat it out, have a bingy weekend, not drink during the week, and I'll be fine. But like you, the more I dug into what was really going on in my brain and my body, my liver, I was like, how am I doing this to myself? I mean, killing myself.
and mood, like waking
Oh,
up in the morning and being like, I don't want to do anything, or waking up in the morning and being like, let's go.
drink.
Like that's the difference.
Yeah, right, right. No, it's total difference. It was very much affecting my mental health. Did you find that too?
Yeah, there was times where I could like feel it in my brain.
Hmm.
My brain was like, I feel like it was injured.
Yeah, it was.
What I mean, the brain injured, it's like that's what it felt like and seemed like, and my thoughts and whatever. It was just broke. It was broken, and
Yeah,
it needed. And then I'd have to take a few days, a week off drinking or something. Just be like, I gotta repair my brain right now.
yeah. Well, I was sharing this with you before we started recording. I had a lot of friends who were bartenders and people in the food and restaurant industry. I liked to hang out at bars because that's where I did a lot of my drinking.
It's my
And
favorite thing to do too.
yeah, and there just does seem to be a lot of people in the industry that are either sober now or are struggling with addiction to drug and alcohol. It just seems very prevalent in the industry. Is that, would you say, because of the hours?
I would say it's kind of cultural too. You do what other people in your industry do, right?
Hmm.
It's just like, oh, this is what we do. We're bartenders, we're servers. We go about our lives in some kind of way, and yes, that involves alcohol and later nights, maybe some drugs, and
Hmm.
it's a lifestyle with tattoos and beards, and people are just they're bartenders. It's like, and then
Right.
you have chefs, and then you have electricians and bus drivers. It's so culturally that is what it is, but that's also what's shifted so much is, well, essentially drinking culture has
Hmm.
shifted, which goes across all just across the fabric of society. That's
Yeah.
actually what we're in right now. Like everybody knows somebody who like stopped drinking, and
Right.
this isn't somebody who was like the severe alcoholic. It's just kind of like around society, doctors, lawyers, the ones that are known to be such big drinkers. There you just hear stories all over the place. It's like half the country just cut back on drinking, or tons of people just stopped drinking, and everybody knows somebody. And so it's this really neat
It
thing that's
is.
in society right now.
It's becoming more acceptable when you say, "Oh, I don't drink," or "I'm not drinking," or "I'm taking a break." And I love that. I do want to
Finally.
go back to your story for a second because you said, hey, when I was a bartender, I just thought drinking was part of being a bartender. That's my identity. And I hear that a lot with people. And I struggled with that when I thought about stopping drinking. Like, well, who will I be without drinking? And then you said, then you got really introspective though. And you're like, well, wait a minute, I've been fired from 14 jobs. And, is this really who I want to be? So can you talk about that like you did in your documentary?
Yeah, I think that's so glad you brought that up because it's one of the things that may keep somebody or be resistant to thinking about taking out removing something from their life that's such a big part of them. Not
Right.
just what they spend time on, what they think about, what they know that they're going to do in that day, which is in drinking, but that it embodies their identity.
Mhm.
And taking that away is just like, what? Like, and what's what's so neat about the whole thing is you get a more truer identity of yourself without such a strong frequency in your life. I mean, think about alcohol. It's such a vibe. It's such a
Right.
strong, visible, you can smell it, see it, you can on a person, like it's such a strong frequency. And
And don't forget, we're marketed it too, that we need it all the time to connect, to be sophisticated, to be social, to celebrate. We are constantly getting these messages. Or if you're sad, had a bad day, this is how you comfort somebody. We are inundated with those messages too.
then somebody said it recently, the Hollywoodification of it all. It's just decades and decades and decades. We
Yes.
just grow up with that's sexy and it's classy and
Yes.
it's the Bond martini.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that was definitely my thing. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. So, but then you said, well, wait a minute, I don't know if I want this identity. And I think that's so important because as I start to work with clients, they realize it's not like you walk around going, I'm a drinker. That's how I identify. Right. But you start to realize how it's just entangled in every part of your life. And you're like, if I remove this substance, what's that particular instance going to look like? How am I going to do that? So you have to start really, sitting in the discomfort and relearning who you are.
Yeah, I was also just subtly getting feedback from the world, just like, well, I mean, getting fired from 14 jobs is a little
That's some
more direct
feedback.
feedback. I mean, I always knew like
Yeah.
what the root cause of everything was. I wasn't oblivious to it. It's like, oh, why do I keep getting fired? It's like it's very clear why anything not great was happening in my life was directly or indirectly because of alcohol.
Me
But there
too.
was other things that were more subtle and in the background that would just be like, oh, like maybe I'm just giving off a vibe of like just I'm on the sauce. It's not that's not cool.
Yeah.
And then what really broke it for me was in like really in like when you get really intoxicated, it's almost like something else takes over. And that was kind of scary because it wasn't me, it wasn't some exaggerated form of me because you get exaggerated on alcohol,
Mhm.
like your personality
Right.
gets exaggerated. It's like a caricature, but like something else beyond that was
I
not
agree.
cool. And that was really the month where I was like, if there's things that I do that I know not what I do, and they are very much so not a part of my character, that's scary.
Yeah,
And
it is really
this is
scary to
going to
be in a
stop.
blackout and be walking around. You're talking to people, you're interacting, but you are not all there and you don't remember it and you can't get that back either. And you hear about what you did or you look at your phone and that is not who you want it to be. I've had too many of those nights, so I do understand. It is a
Yeah.
scary feeling. But then you did something extra. You're like, well, I'm going to go on a road trip and I'm going to go check out all these alcohol free bars and these people who are making alcohol free spirits. And 3 years ago, that was really cutting edge in your documentary. But how did that help to shape where you are now and help to reinforce and validate your choice?
Yeah, the decision to go across the country with a cameraman is still
So
everything
cool.
that I want to do.
Yeah.
It's like not so much like have to do payroll every week, not so much like there's a lot of things I have to do as a business owner.
Right.
No, but what I really want to do is take a camera around, edit, high quality content and show people what the hell is going on, because
Mm-hmm.
it is so much cooler. It is so much bigger than people know.
Yeah.
And there's nobody like really just being like, define the look and feel of a full on movement as alcohol gets disrupted.
Oh, I
This
love
is
that. As alcohol gets disrupted, I really love that statement. Yeah.
their alcohol industry is getting hit from multiple angles. It's not just people deciding to drink less, but it's like science coming out about how it causes breast cancer, like,
Yes.
or how it's not great for your skin. It Gen Z just naturally not really feeling it. It's
Yeah.
this whole, there's a bunch of angles,
Yeah,
but
let's
essentially,
hang there for a minute, because you and I both said we like to geek out a little bit on the science, and it's so important to understand how it is a carcinogen. It is a known carcinogen attached to 7 different types of cancers. Most of those touch your digestive tract, except for breast cancer. And so, knowing that alone, it's one of the most preventable forms of cancer behind cigarettes and obesity. We have this choice, but we've just taken our bodies for granted for so long. But this movement, like you said, this disruption and waking up to it and being like, well, wait a minute, what am I doing to my body and my brain and your skin? I love that.
yeah, and it also has a lot to do with, I mean, didn't everybody believe that a glass of wine a day was good for you?
Yeah,
Wasn't it a doctor on 60 Minutes, and wasn't it studies that were
that's right.
done? That the numbers of alcohol consumption after that 60 Minutes episode in the 90s,
Mm.
crazy.
And they found they were
And
backed by the alcohol industry.
they were absolutely backed by the alcohol industry.
Yeah, brilliant.
And that's the thing about research. You can really, you can get data, and then you can be like, look at that part of the data.
Right.
See? And that's why this whole conversation gets really convoluted. And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
well, you know, alcohol not being good for you, but it also makes you social and like do things, and like there's, it's like, because look at that part of the data. So
Right.
it gets to this really tricky conversation. So I just like to zoom out a little bit and be like,
Mm-hmm.
don't we all kind of intuitively know that alcohol isn't good for you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
But we want that confirmation bias. So if somebody says in the news, somebody reputable like a doctor, oh, in the blue zones, they're drinking red wine and therefore it's good for you. And they take out all the other stuff these people are doing in the blue zones and just pick out the wine. Right. So I do know, because as a former pharmaceutical sales rep, we would go into a doctor's office with a
wow.
study and we would just show the part that made our drug looked good. And another company could come in and show a different part of the same study. Right. So you can confirmation bias anything.
Yeah. I kind of want to throw this one in real quick.
Go, throw it in.
I saw this podcast that I love dearly, and the highlight reel on it was a lady saying, instead of using the mouthwash with the alcohol that's in it, you're actually better off using tequila, because it's more of a pure alcohol and it doesn't have any sugar. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
um, alcohol doesn't have sugar unless they add it to it.
Right.
So
And you know this.
alcohol's a distillate, and I can break it down real quick.
Go
If
ahead.
you take a bunch of grain and you heat it up, you get sugars. And then it's kind of like having a beer. Let's say you have beer. It's 5% alcohol. When you take that 5% alcohol beer and you put it into a tank and you put a fire underneath it, it's going to turn into steam. What's turning into steam is alcohol.
Okay.
The 5% alcohol in that beer is now turning into steam, just like water. Water turns into steam.
Right.
Alcohol does it at a lower temperature. It turns into steam, and then it gets cooled down, and guess what? It turns into liquid. That liquid is alcohol.
Or
Okay?
ethanol.
It's ethanol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, do you have gluten in that steam?
Nope.
Do you have sugar in that steam?
No.
It's a spirit. They call it a spirit
Mm-hmm.
because it's a gas. And then so, but you have some water, and then you distill it again, and then you distill it again, and it's all very much, now it's a distillate, it's
Pure.
a spirit. So saying that one ethanol molecule is has more sugar in it than the others, it's like, no, people add sugar to make liqueurs and whatnot with
Right.
the alcohol. And that it's going to be better for you is just, it's not common knowledge about the science of how this stuff is made.
Mm-hmm.
but but ethanol is something that gets into all of the parts of your body, goes through the blood brain
Blood-brain
barrier,
barrier. Yes.
and is
Can
all
we just explain that
calories.
to people, because that's really important? So a lot of medications cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. It's meant to be a barrier. Your brain is its own ecosystem, and it's protected. Alcohol goes right through. Doesn't stop alcohol. So that's just a really important point to explain.
Yeah, it's if it helps, it's a solvent. So solvents are things that like moves things through other things,
Mm-hmm.
and the salt so it gets like into your cells and like into your organs through the brain, and then of course has those effects. I think something people don't know as much as how much calories like an ounce of alcohol is. It's actually kind of all calories because
Mm-hmm.
it's the amount of energy, right?
Right.
And so you can have a vodka soda, which is no sugar for the most part, and you can still have hundreds of calories because
Right.
alcohol is all calories. So, so when like with non-alcoholic wine, people, everybody with non-alcoholic wine, they say two things. The first thing they say is, "Well, isn't that grape juice?"
Yeah.
So, very very basic level, like immediate reaction is like non-alcoholic wine. That's freaking grape juice. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. It's like totally understandable. It's
Right.
just ignorance. Nobody's really thought about or been told about non-alcoholic wine, but it's it's not grape juice. It's you have to make the wine and then you de-alcoholize it, which is all of those calories. So a glass of non-alcoholic wine is actually very low in
Is
calories,
that right? Oh,
a-
interesting.
and then retains all of the positive effects that we believed red wine or wine to have, which is the red, like the antioxidants, the
Resveratrol.
resveratrol,
Yeah.
the fact you're kind of drinking a grape that's been fermented, which is even more powerful than just the grape skin by itself.
Mm. So
Eh,
interesting. Yeah,
yeah,
you know all the science of that. So actually, you make a good segue here, because I think the wine part of the non-alcoholic industry is starting to catch up and have some really good wines. And you've found some. You research it, and you mentioned some that you really like. Can you? I always have clients and people ask me, well, what about wine? What can I drink that doesn't taste like grape juice or vinegar?
yeah. It's pretty much 9 times out of 10 the non-alcoholic wine is not going to be great.
Right.
Maybe eight, I guess. And now it's like
It's getting better.
8 out of 10 is like, oh, man, it's too sweet. It has something in there that tastes like grape juice, smells like grape juice, or it's like there's um, blackberry extracts or passion fruit for the Sauvignon Blanc or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That was this industry is brand new. They're all inventing a wheel with
Right.
non-alcoholic wine. It's very difficult, but some had done it well, and we always knew it was going to get better. So I've been on an active mission for the last
Mm-hmm.
5 years to find the best non-alcoholic wines in the world. Like that is one of my main things. I'm also a beer brewer. I brewed a lot of beer in my life. So really into this stuff and geeking
Mm-hmm.
out on it and just finding the best stuff. That's my whole thing. And yeah, there was one that came to me a little over a year ago. It's called Geronimo. It was this couple in
Geronimo.
Austria. There was a friend of theirs was in San Francisco, like came to my cafe to the counter and was like, "I'm bringing this from Austria." I was like, "Oh, great, a non-alcoholic red." Like I have to taste all of them because the reds are the hardest
Right.
and they're the least easy to find, and they just really piss people off.
It's true.
Non-alcoholic red wines are
It's true.
like they are so frustrating because they're so much more difficult than white and bubblies. That's what's going on. Every single person who's bought one knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
And all those
I do.
that haven't bought one yet, I'm almost like don't.
Me too.
It's you have less than a 15% chance of hitting it right on the first swing. So there's millions of dollars being
Right.
spent on non-alcoholic red wine that is people are like, "Damn it."
But it is improving, and you found one that
Oh
it's
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it,
Geronimo,
it
tell us
it's
about that
sitting
one.
it's sitting right
Yeah.
behind me. This isn't
Yeah.
even a shameless plug. I swear. I'm
I
more
saw.
I more want to show this because of the amount of money that's being spent on something that isn't great. So and I'm not like a big salesy guy. I'm passionate, but I'm like I found something.
Yeah.
You got to check this out. I did that for 20 years behind the bar. I would just be
Sure.
like, oh my God, you should see this rum from Haiti. It's made out of this crazy strain of sugarcane grass that nobody's ever heard of. Like, that was my thing. I'm just like, I found one. It's expensive too. So
Smaller
it's
bottle.
not this is the small bottle. This one
Mm-hmm.
comes in at 38, and then the
Yeah.
large bottle $69. So it's not
Woo. Yeah.
it's not for everybody, but there's a bunch of people that are like, I trust him and I'm going to give it a shot. And I'm glad they do. I manage multiple wine bars. Like, I'm not messing around. This is like
Mm-hmm.
bougie, like Northern Rhone French, like a little bit of funk. And it's like bougie
Yeah, I'm
food
gonna try it.
pairing
Definitely.
wine. It's really cool stuff.
And the
And
other one
then,
behind you?
yeah, that's a sparkling that they make. Oh my God. That's easily the best red in the world. It's not even an opinion. It's,
Okay.
it's a straight up fact.
Everybody, you heard it right here. Josh is saying best non-alcoholic red wine.
Yeah,
It's
it's just,
important. People want to find that.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is bringing immense joy to some
Mm-hmm.
people's lives.
Yeah.
They want that, they love wine. It's
Now,
not for
I have
everybody.
one caveat to throw out there as a coach. So when I first start working with people, and if red wine was their drink of choice, I usually recommend don't try to start drinking red wine alternatives right away. A, it's going to piss you off, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
and B, you've got to get through that desire that you're going to find something that's just like the red wine you were drinking, because really what you're looking for is the effect, right? Um, but there are people who the red wine is not triggery for, and they're just looking for something to enjoy that feels sophisticated. They can bring to a dinner party. They can enjoy while they're cooking. So these are great. These will be in the show notes. Yeah, I'm so glad you're doing this research and bringing it to us.
Yeah, I'd say you're pretty spot on with that. It's also just everybody kind of has a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a spectrum.
Yeah.
It's like, I drink for the effect. I drink for the taste and the ritual. It's like I so in that spectrum, non-alcoholic wine isn't for everybody. In fact, it's not for most people. In fact, most people are like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, non-alcoholic wine. And it's just, they just don't know that there's like this whole segment of people that love it,
Mm-hmm.
and the taste, and it reminds them of amazing times because they grew up with it. And it's
Right.
like, but they know they don't want alcohol. They know
Right.
they don't want alcohol in their life, or they don't want it on a weekday, but they still want their wine. They still drink. That's actually a big chunk
Yeah.
of people.
Some people do. Yeah.
And the fact that this is an option, and it wasn't one that society ever really thought about. A very, like, less than 1% of society would have ever thought about non-alcoholic wine like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Now there's 100 brands that launched, and it's like articles being written about it. It's like it's in the public
because they're seeing the
consciousness.
rise of this sober curiosity or people not choosing to drink, and it's about money, right? They want to make the money, so they're going to find a way to make good de-alcoholized wine. What about, let's shift to the adaptogen type spirits and drinks. I kind of lean toward that myself because it has a benefit, with ashwagandha or L-theanine or lemon balm, these calming ingredients. What do you think of those?
I'm all in on the functional side of beverages. The
Mm-hmm.
industry moves so fast. It really started out trying to mimic the alcohol world and honestly failing.
Mm-hmm.
Non-alcoholic whiskeys, tequilas, gins, they're all just like,
Right.
and but it was what we had to work with. When I first opened, it was 5 years ago, and the handful of brands that were out,
Mm-hmm.
and I was still looking for and only bringing in the best of them for the most part. But then that started to shift, and it shifted into things that actually do something for you. I got over non-alcoholic whiskey 2.5 years ago. I was like, it all sucks and it's pissing bartenders off.
Yes.
So they're not getting these alternatives. They're not catering to the not to the
Right.
to the consumer that doesn't want alcohol when they're out, because they're tasting these things and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, and it's a super expensive bottle, so
Mm-hmm.
it's slowing the industry down. So I'm over it. But
Right.
give me something with rhodiola and shatavari and ashwagandha, L-theanine. Like, love that stuff. This is herbalism that's coming full circle as I
Mm-hmm.
see it. And I
And
think that's great.
I do too. And do you make creative drinks with those at your bar at Ocean Beach Cafe, right? That's yes. Ocean Beach
Yeah, Ocean
Cafe.
Beach Cafe. It's the whole reason I opened it was to be a non-alcoholic bar, but I was not going to call it Josh's non-alcoholic
Right.
bar. You call it a cafe by the beach, and you get tens of thousands of more people in there.
Smart.
So I could show them this. There's hundreds of bottles right when you walk in, so it looks like a liquor store. And
Yeah.
before they leave, I'm like, oh, by the way, everything's non-alcoholic, and they're like, what? I stopped drinking a year ago. Awesome! I built this place for you. Go check it out.
Well, that was had to have been a big financial risk. So you travel around, you make this decision, you do all this research, and you come back and you open a bar where you used to be a bartender, one of the places. And what was that like? I mean, that's a big investment.
It was an opportunity during COVID. So in
Hmm.
2020, I was a Josh the non-alcoholic on YouTube. I was going to make 50 videos, see where it took me. I was about 30 videos in, shooting down by the beach, and I walked into this deli that was permanently closing in October of 2020. And he was like, "You want to buy the place?" And I was like, "Sure. How much?" I was 8 months into not drinking,
Wow.
and he was like $50,000. I was like, "Really? You mind if
On
I
the
sit down?"
beachfront. Wow.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
California.
This was meant to happen.
Yeah. And then we sat down and I was like, I would build a non-alcoholic bar here. But I left that conversation and the first thing I did, I looked at oceanbeachcafe.com and it was available. It was just one of those moments. And
Wow.
I was like, damn it. I don't want to bartend or work in food and beverage, but I'm 38 years old. I've worked at 70 different bars and restaurants. It's kind of what I do, and the non-alc movement is coming. And I had a chef that was there and he was really good. And I was like, let's do it. I'll get the funding. And 3 months later, in the last minute of the 12th hour, it was this friend of mine swooped in and was like, I just got an inheritance. What do you need? I was like, I don't
Wow.
need much. I was like, I need $20,000 because I had like 5 grand. I was like, I can do it with 20. And
What a leap of faith.
she was like, yeah, I got that. I was like, really? It's on? And I did it with, yeah, I did it. I got it for much less than 50K. And that's why I
Nice.
couldn't pass it up. And the
Sure.
rent was super, super cheap. And I was like, I got to do it.
And how is it
And,
doing now?
oh man, it's banging. It, yeah, we went it was crazy. I mean, we opened dry January of 2021 when like everybody was like, okay, what's my relationship with alcohol?
Right.
2020 was like saucy. And yeah, we did like 300, 400, 500, 600, and then it was like broke a million. Like it was just
Oh,
crazy.
congratulations.
It's just been banging.
And you brought your whole like surfer cool vibe and making this a very cool thing. So it's inclusive. People come in, they're learning they can socialize and have fun in these great drinks that don't ruin their day or their night. I mean, what a gift you're bringing there.
They're coming in out of curiosity to get a
Mhm.
novel drink. They're like, "Oh, we've had 90 articles written about us. Like we've been on the news like 5 times and people leave our place and they tell their siblings or their friends. They're
Oh,
like,
I
"You
want to
won't
go.
believe what I found. I was getting a matcha latte down by Ocean Beach and I found this place. It was all non-alcoholic. You just got mocktails everywhere." And so the referrals, the word of mouth on this, so people are coming in like, I've heard about this place, I want to try one of these drinks. Oh, look at all these cool beverages, and there's mushrooms in the beverages and the chai. This is so great.
Now, are you back to actually behind the bar making the drinks?
I'm actually not there as much. I'm I'm full on absentee owner status. Oh my God. Thank you,
Beautiful.
Mark Jansen, general manager. Oh my God. He just saved my life. He's so good. He's so good at food and beverage is so hard.
It
It's
is.
so many big things. And there was things that I thought I'd be really good at
Hmm.
and I just wasn't as much. And you're also just working like 16-hour days and
Right.
just killing yourself. But yeah, it's I don't have to be there as much. I don't have to make lattes anymore. It's amazing.
What are you doing with your time since you're not there? I know you're on a
I
mission.
got I kind of do too many things. And I know the importance of only doing one thing and being obsessive about it. I really, really do. But I kind of have like three things right now, and the most important one is to let millions of people know what just happened, like this
Yeah.
full on movement.
Yeah, I love it.
Think about like veganism or like vegetarian. You know, that was like kind of fringe and hippie. And then it was like, no, everybody's kind of part, we all know this is a thing. It's not weird.
But the difference is when you do that, someone goes, "Ooh, did you have a problem with, meat? Is that why?" Right? You see that Jim Gaffigan skit where he's like, people ask him, like, "Did you have a problem with mayonnaise? Is that why you don't eat it?" But with alcohol, that's the question that happens with this movement. But we're shifting that, right? It's
It's
becoming
absolutely shifted. I feel
mhm,
like, I mean, every dry January is like the mark when you
more and
can
more.
like take stock of where society's at with
Hmm.
awareness and understanding of this industry. And this was the year where I was like, okay, it's not as much stigmatized. Finally, I've been there for 5 years doing this, and I'm just like, it's so funny to me that if somebody's like choosing to bring more wellness into their life, people are like, do you have a
Wow.
problem, or like,
Yeah.
how come you're not drinking? Like, that's a phrase of the past, and now that
Hmm.
it's so popular and pop culture almost, that's happening less, which is great.
It is happening less, but what would you say to people who are struggling, especially in the service industry, with alcohol, drinking a lot? Because it is the culture, as you said. You do what your people are doing, your tribe around you. What would you say?
I would say that there are choices and there's options and there's community out there, and find activities that are fun and one of the ones I think of is I enjoy going to bars and restaurants. So then I turn it into a scavenger hunt about where's the coolest and best non-alcoholic cocktails at bars and restaurants, or who's got these crazy selections, because it's kind of random out there,
Hmm.
and do the research and then find them, because anybody that has a decent selection of non-alc in their retail spot or their bar or restaurant spot means that somebody actually did research, spent
Right.
time on it, and was like, oh, I've and tried a bunch of stuff, because most stuff isn't great, and they and go to those places, and it's like they get many extra points that they found cool stuff, and go find them, and
Yeah.
there's ways to find them.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
love it.
back to what the other things that keep me busy. Yeah, I went off on a thing, but what keeps me busy, and I think the most important thing right now is to let millions of people know what just happened, like where we're at right now in 2025, and what's super awesome and delicious, and then what it means for how we get together and connect as social beings.
Hmm.
And
Truly
it
connect.
yeah, it's a really big thing. This isn't a small thing. It's one of those movements. It's a full-on
It's
movement.
growing.
And alcohol is being disrupted, and they
Hmm.
have to pivot and adapt, and they are. But what a wild shit. I think it's the biggest subject next to AI and politics is like alcohol
I
disruption.
agree with you. I talk about it all the time. But I love that
And
term. I'm going to use that alcohol disruption. It's so big.
there so what I'm working on, and I'm going to do it. I'm going big. I want a 6 episode docuseries on Netflix or another major streaming service that's like, this is what's going on, and this isn't going to be like sober TV. This is going to be some rad individuals doing cool shit, driving, like taking a camera crew and going to the absolute coolest spots, bar programs, leaders in the space, just the conversation about
Hmm.
wellness. And what is Gen Z drinking right now? What are they going to be drinking in 2 years, and why? Like, what things give you a buzz? Like herbalism coming full circle. Like, define the look and feel for this movement, and like lead it. Like, this is what it looks like, guys. These are the
Yeah.
people that are participating. They're cool as shit, and like they're kind of like people you probably want you might want to hang out with. Let's get the community together, in fact, and like do super rad stuff like festivals and just let everybody know it tastes great so bars can have them as options. This is the new cool. It's being told by millennials, but it's talking about Gen Z, what they're drinking,
Right.
and this isn't what you think it is. And
Oh,
this is what it is. This is what it looks and feels like. And then I'll be good.
I like this idea. So when's this documentary going to start? I
Oh, it's
I want to
on the
watch it.
way.
Good.
It's on the way. We I have it on some desks right now, and I'm like, right now I'm at the point where things are serendipity. You attract what you need. But now I'm at the point where I'm like, no, I'm actually going to go put it on some desks because
Mm-hmm.
this is this. It's like we're in a position. It's me and the co-host is my wife, Kristen Bear of Creative Sobriety. She's the quintessential female voice of this modern sobriety movement.
Okay.
That's what she calls it. She's she's a model and actress. She's gorgeous. She's an amazing writer,
And she doesn't
and
drink. Her
she's
skin's beautiful.
yeah.
Right?
She and she's just like and so much better on TV than I am. So she's gonna carry the show,
Oh,
but I'm gonna
great.
be the bartender and the guy, and we're gonna show everybody what the hell is going on.
I would
So
watch this.
the way it gets out there is if you know somebody that needs to see this, because there's so many thousands of individuals that could get this pitch deck. Because I have a 5-minute sizzle reel that looks amazing, and it's we traveled to 3 locations. So we have a bunch of footage of 3
Mm-hmm.
locations, 6-person crew. We've got a really high quality thing to pitch. And it's going to land on the desk and that person's going to see it and be like, "Oh my god, we have to give this to the boss. He just stopped drinking a year ago. Like
Yeah.
this is so cool you guys are doing this." And it's all about the style and the fun and the party. It's not a this isn't a church basement, folks. It's
No, I
much
think this is
cooler.
important. I can't wait to watch this. I think this is, like you said, this is a big movement that's not going away, and the industry has to pivot, and they are. But having a documentary like that would certainly, get it out there to the masses. So we will look for that. And how can people find you? First of all, they can go to Ocean Beach Cafe when they're in San Francisco. They might not see you there, but they can check out your space. But how can people find you if they want to learn more about you? Where do they go?
Yeah, if anybody's anywhere near San Francisco, Ocean Beach Cafe is one of those gyms. It's kind of like it should be one of those spots that kind of has lines out the door because it's this really neat thing. The food is freaking delicious and the coffee. So if you're anywhere near San Francisco, first of all, get to the beach. Even if
Yeah.
you just get to the beach, that means go to Ocean Beach Cafe. But it's Josh the Non-Alcoholic on YouTube and Instagram, and I got 100 videos coming of reviewing beverages, talking about the business of the non-alcoholic beverage industry. I'm super passionate about
Yeah.
because a bunch of places are opening and then closing, and it breaks my heart, and I want to help. I have a successful place. I want to share everything I've learned.
That's great.
Yeah, Josh the Non-Alcoholic and Ocean Beach Cafe.
Okay. And then I always ask people when they come on here, what do you do to be sober fit? And fit means mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. What do you do?
To be sober fit for me is sometimes you gotta stop, take a break, and pat yourself on the back a little bit because
Hmm.
what you have or what you've accomplished is a thing. It just never looks like what you envisioned in the past. So you never know you're in it or doing it. So sometimes take a break and just think
Mm.
about the things that you do have. And that kind of reflective moment I think is healthy, and we
Hmm.
naturally don't do it because we're always just on to the next
Right.
thought, action, and peace. So sometimes just take 2 breaths, and it really helps to like reset instead of
Hmm.
always being on because I'm always on, and sometimes you just got to be like, take it easy.
Yeah.
But I surf, and I remember times I'd surf and I was still like thinking, rattling I literally do 100 tasks a day. I'm always like, how many things can I do today actively? And I learned recently how to like, before I go surfing, just stretch on the freaking beach and go paddle out there and don't think of any of it. It doesn't matter. Just be in the ocean
Oh,
and
that sounds amazing. I want to go. But so you're really saying you practice gratitude, pausing, and then being really present in surfing, being out in the beautiful water and surfing. I would love to do that.
Little micro meditations, even those help.
Yeah, you can hear it in your voice. You've got a nice, calm way about you, even though you have a million things going on. I really loved that you came on to Sober Fit Life and you shared your knowledge and your wisdom and your chemistry knowledge, and you're going to bring to us all the information about the industry, making it cool, inclusive, and fun. So thank you so much, Josh, for coming on to Sober Fit Life.
Thanks for having me on here. Talk about all this super cool stuff. And I love getting to do this to let the world know that is the mission, you know. And so thanks for helping fulfill the mission and being a part of it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll both keep doing it. Have you ever Googled, am I an alcoholic? Me too. And here's the thing, it's not a helpful question. Those quizzes just slap on a label. Yes, you are. No, you're not. But what if it's not about the label and more about how drinking actually makes you feel? That's why I created Am I Drinking Too Much? It's the quiz I wish had existed when I was searching. No scare tactics, no rock bottom required. You'll get your results and a free guide that explains gray area drinking, plus 3 science-backed strategies to reduce or interrupt cravings. Take it at soberfitchick.com/MI. That's MI, as in, am I drinking too much? soberfitchick.com/MI.